प्यार भरी सत श्री अकाल and a warm welcome on the show again after this short commercial break. This is me and myself, RJ RAMAN, every Sundays 2 to 4 on the RJ RAMAN show, exclusively on Akash Radio 1323 AM Leeds and worldwide, who are tuned in right now on www.akashradioleeds.co.uk. So now presenting my second guest of the show. She's been around in the industry for a while now, and it was an absolute pleasure that I had her on the show a couple of months ago. But it seems like I'm going to be interviewing her twin sister, because there seems to be a bit of change of her name now, because I interviewed Tripet Garielle a couple of months ago, but now I'm interviewing a very interesting name, Arzutra. I mean, that Arzutra is very interesting, very Spanish/Arabic name. I need to ask her, what is this change? Why did she go for this rebrand? Because I've got the one and only Arzutra Garielle on the show to talk about her upcoming song. Basically, a song what has been gone viral. It's getting worldwide recognition. It's been shot in Dubai. And she's very obsessed with Dubai. I need to ask her why she's obsessed with Dubai and the camels, because the camels are very famous at Dubai as well. So I need to question her a few questions to ask what is this song about and what the video is all about. So it's being shot in a very good place, especially in the deserts. Amazing location, right? She's there with the horse. Very interesting video. And the track's name is Sehraa. Now Sehraa is something what someone would be wearing on their wedding. Where's this Sehraa come from with this track? So we need to know what the track is about. So this is presenting the second guest of the show, Arzutra Garielle, on the show. So pyar bhari sat sri akal and a warm welcome on the show, Arzutra. How are you doing today?
Hi, I am absolutely fine. I'm actually looking forward to this interview because I know it's been a while since I last was on Akash Radio.
Yeah.
So thank you for having me on your show today.
Fabulous. It's an absolute pleasure. I've got you once again on the show because you know one thing, Arzutra, right? A few weeks ago, I spoke to this gorgeous curly-haired twin sister of yours, Tripet Garielle. I mean, I don't know where she's gone. I can't seem to find her. Where have you hidden her? Where has she gone?
Twin sister? Maybe it's a twin sister I never knew I even had. We need to maybe do an investigation. Is someone out there trying to impersonate me then or something?
Exactly. I mean, what's this sudden change of your name? I mean, tell us a bit about this rebranding of your name.
Okay, so very good question. I actually have been wanting to change my artist name for a couple of years now.
Mm-hmm.
Not even just my artist name, but my real name. My real name is Tripet.
Yeah.
As per my birth certificate and my passport. Don't know why, don't know how that happened. But anyway, cut a long story short, I actually wanted to change my name a few years back, and then even I've been sometimes on social media asking fans, and then I had some suggestions from fans, but I never really liked anything even. So I've been thinking myself, and I never really came up with the right name that felt right for me. I had all sorts of bizarre ideas, you know. Even at one point I was thinking of calling myself Friday.
Really?
Yeah.
Friday.
Friday, exactly, yeah. So it was actually when I went to Dubai recently, so I was in Dubai a couple of weeks back, and I was just sitting with my notepad, just brainstorming, writing. I came up with some names, nobody liked any of them. And I wanted something which was positive, so I wanted to have something which had a very positive meaning behind it. And I don't know how this came about even, but just a couple of days back, I was doing some research and I came across this word Arzu, which is A-R-Z.
Arzu, yeah.
It's actually a Persian word by origin, but it has its influences and links with Urdu in terms of poetry, and then obviously Hindi, and then subcontinent languages, and also the whole kind of Middle Eastern Arabic area as well. So because I'm very drawn to those sides of the world, it was just like, wow, I actually like the word, and plus the meaning, it means desire and wish. I thought that that's a very positive meaning. And I took the word Arzu, and I then, because I'm quite inspired by Cleopatra, I then took the last three letters of her name, which is the TRA, and put it together with the Arzu. I came up with Arzutra.
Interesting. That is very interesting.
So that's how it came about, and I just messaged all of my friends, all of my family, all of my fans the very night that I actually did this, which was Tuesday night, quite recently. And I said, my name's changed from Tripet Garielle to Arzutra Garielle. And, basically don't ask me why. It's just, that's my name now.
What was the first reaction? I mean, from your family. I mean, they must have been thinking, what is this girl up to? What is she doing?
I think my family's probably an exception, because no matter how much I would love for my family to accept that, I don't think they ever would, because I've grown up in a household where they call me all sorts of funny names beginning with T, and I don't think that's something that's going to change overnight. So with regards to my family, I do see them still kind of, calling me Tripet, or my original name. But I think some fans have had a very positive feedback so far. So I've had lots of fans saying that they love the name, really nice name. I had some fans messaging saying why. So I've told them, I don't keep anything. I don't have any secrets from my fans.
Interesting.
Exactly what I said to you. I said the exact same thing to my fans. But I actually feel like the very next day I woke up, I was talking to a few people. And as I was doing my rebranding, doing a whole rebranding exercise across my social media and across all of my music platforms and everything right now, and as I'm in the midst of that, I'm actually taking a step back to ask myself, does this feel right? Is this me? And the funny thing is I feel like it's the best thing I've ever done for myself.
Fantastic.
Not just for my music career, but in terms of my life in general.
Wow.
So I am Arzutra Garielle, and I am really proud of my new name.
Fantastic. I mean, everyone's loving the name. It's very unique, very different than the common names. So we got you for the second time now this year in this show. The last conversation we had about the track Mast was also a very good song. I mean, a bit of an Arabic style track with Bollywood feel to it. And in fact, the track was very different than the other tracks what you've done in the past, and now you're back with a new song, Sehraa. I mean, that I consider this track to be, I would say one of the best tracks of yours so far. And I mean, tell us a bit about how this track's got put together.
So Sehraa is actually my song which just got released just 2 weeks ago now, and it's been getting a very, very positive reviews and feedback from everyone, including my fans. And everybody who knows me, pretty much everybody said the same thing, that it's the best track, and I'm more than happy to believe that it's my best track. But I do think there's going to be better tracks to come. So Sehraa has got a very strong Arabic influence in it, and I think that comes about where I do travel to the Middle East quite a lot for shows and for the music videos and production. And so when we were starting to produce Sehraa, that's me and my producer, I said to him that I want to do something different, and actually it started off with the idea of doing a fusion of languages, so having Punjabi, maybe Urdu and some English in it. And then we kind of we diverted, because we said, okay, rather than doing a language fusion, let's just do a music fusion. And that's what's actually happened, is where we've taken the Arabic instrumentation, fused it with the Indian Bollywood sounds, and made it, sounding quite commercial.
Yeah.
And the actual song itself and the beat, it's really, it's credit to my producer, Abdif Ali, because I said to him, I just gave him the actual requirement that, look, I just want to be able to dance, and I want all of my fans to get up and dance when they hear this song. And I don't know about my fans, but I know that when I put the song on, I literally, the very first thing I do is I go on my bed and I start dancing.
Wow.
So that's it. And the video itself was shot in Dubai in the desert, so it's got a very Arabic feel to the actual video, which goes with the theme of the actual music.
I noticed that, because the video, I mean, is shot in a desert area, presuming that it's in the Arabs. But there's one thing missing in the video, which I was very, very upset to see, which were camels. Where are the camels? We need the camels in the video as well. That's a main element.
There's no you, is there? Oh no. I thought, well, we had a horse.
Well, the horse was there, but the horse, it shouldn't be ridden. You shouldn't be sat on the horse riding on the desert. That would be a very iconic shot.
Actually, we had it in the script that I would be with the horse doing I don't know what, but because the horse actually ran off at one point during the shoot,
All right.
and it took nearly an hour to find the horse and
Oh
the
my
owner
God.
of the horse to bring the actual horse back. And then I just kind of I changed my mind and I thought, okay, look, you know what? Let's just keep a distance now with the horse. I'm fine where I am. So. I have got some photos. I think maybe if you go onto my social media, you can scroll down and see I've got some photos where I'm actually quite close to the horse.
Oh yes.
But yeah, unfortunately in the video we didn't actually, go to that extreme. But I am doing some underwater shots though. So that's
Oh yes. I mean, noticing the swimming pool idea. I mean, whose idea was that? Was it yourself or was it the director?
That was the video director. So I'm working with the English video director, Peter Stiliano, and he came up with the script that I would be underwater doing some romancing scenes. And I didn't think too much about it at first, knowing that I couldn't swim. I'm one of the people that I just deal with things when the actual time arises.
Yeah.
So when I got to Dubai, I did mention to the video team that, look, I can't swim, by the way. So a couple of days before the shoot, I did mention it. And then they all said to me, don't worry, we'll teach you how to breathe. It's all about the breathing. So there you go. I actually got onto the set and then did a bit of breathing exercises and somehow miraculously just went underwater.
Fantastic.
My brother wasn't too impressed with some of the underwater shots. But my argument was that I needed to, hold on tight on someone being a non-swimmer and all of that kind of thing.
It's very interesting though. It's very interesting though because it's very unusual to see that sort of a shot or that sort of a scene in a music video, especially when underwater and the filming's underwater as well. You mainly would see that in a Bollywood film. But it's very unusual to see in a music video, which is quite unique in a way.
Well, I think that for music artists, it's very much a case of, taking inspiration from, for example, Bollywood movies, Hollywood movies.
Yeah.
And I think that, taking inspiration from those kind of movies that exist, I don't know of any movie that, I know that some of the Western stars have done underwater, but I don't know of a previous movie yet. I might be the first person. But I think that it's really important to try out new things. And I think that you can't just keep on doing the same thing because eventually you'll get bored of it and your fans will end up getting bored. And this is all about entertaining my fans.
Yeah.
So I need to, now I'm under pressure because I need to constantly give something new, something different, something which fans can be inspired by, just like how I'm a fan of, other icons and I'm inspired by them. I want my fans to look at my music and my work and be inspired by my own work as well. Hence how the actual underwater scene came about, although it wasn't my idea. But I know that, right, okay, I want to do something which is quite different to anything I've done before.
Who do you actually consider, what you mentioned about inspiration, I mean, who do you actually consider someone who's your inspiration or something who you follow the footsteps of an artist or someone you think that, your vocals kind of similar to an artist you've been listening to from your childhood to now?
I'm not sure that's similar in the sense of similar, but I think in terms of my idols, I've got quite a few. So from East, it's Arzutra Garielle.
Yeah.
The playback singer, Lata Mangeshkar, that's just by default, as you must know any good, singer in this part of the world, that's just the kind of default idol that you would have. I think that from the West, especially now, I'm starting to pay a lot more attention to the West. Unlike what I was doing before, where I'd been listening to mainly Bollywood music, now I'm starting to listen to a lot more of the Western as well. I'm very much attracted to Ariana Grande, The Weeknd as well. I've been listening to a lot of his music lately.
Fantastic.
And watching a few of his videos, which I'm quite taken back by, actually. So, I think it's really important to have, sometimes you can just listen to whatever your taste likes and just listen to the same thing over and over, but I think it's always good to just keep abreast of what's going on in the music industry and what the latest trends are, what people are listening to, and really use that for inspiration to grow yourself, your own music as well. I mean, you said yourself, even my Mast track and now Sehraa is completely different to what you would have heard 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah, exactly.
And this is the idea. This is exactly what I want people to be saying, people to be seeing, because I'm actually wanting to do something radically different. And then, you know, next year or the year after, I want you to say the exact same thing compared to 2019. So
Yeah. Interesting. I mean, you know, noticing, I mean, so far your tracks, what you've come up with, they've always been inspired and influenced from the Arabs and the Egyptian sort of theme, especially the music and the video. So is this concept going to be something you're going to be carrying on for a long time, or are you going to be trying out different things and, you know, trying different genre of music?
What's your thoughts on that? What's your opinion? Should I carry on or should I?
Well, to be honest, you kind of set it a standard. You set it a different standard, though.
No, yeah, honestly, it would be good to have some feedback, and you know, I think that. So I do hear a lot of people with different views and opinions, but at the moment I'm just doing what I love doing.
Yeah.
And I don't know how, but some people say to me, "Oh, you got an Arabic look. You need to change your makeup artist." And I have, and believe you me, in every video I've had a different makeup artist, and they still say the same thing to me. So I don't know how that comes. I just really love the Middle East in terms of the music, the food, the people, especially the proximity to our side of the world in terms of India, you know, Punjab, Pakistan. And I feel that the culture of the Middle East is very similar to ours in some respects, especially when it comes to family and, you know, I was going to say food, but not really food. They don't really eat chicken, do they?
Well, I mean, coming to the language, especially in the Middle East, I mean, there's a lot of Persian words what in Punjabi as well. In the Punjabi language, there's a lot of, you know, especially if you're mentioning certain words are kind of similar, and they kind of, especially the dialect as well, of pronunciation is kind of similar in the Persian language.
I mean, I am so attracted to those languages because of the similarity. You know, we can really relate to those kind of languages, especially, you know, in terms of the pronunciation. So I think I can relate to those languages more than I can relate to English even. And then I'm attracted to, you know, Hindi, Punjabi, Urdu, because they're very poetic and artistic languages themselves.
Yeah.
So I think, in terms of carrying on with that whole Arabic Egyptian vibe, I don't know, now that I've taken Cleopatra's last 3 letters, maybe I do need to follow through with the Egyptian vibe. But
it's something, I mean, it's something which is bringing a new concept, new vibe into the music scene. I mean, the Egyptian music is, and Arabic music is very unique kind of a genre of music, and it's very rare that an Indian speaking artist or Indian artist has took that as part of their kind of identity.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I didn't really realise that it's become part of my identity until I actually spoke to you. Because, like I said, it's not something that I sat down and I thought really long and hard about, and it wasn't a deliberate move to actually, you know, make videos and make music and follow through my music career with a heavy Arabic influence. It's just something which has really come about. And I think that, you know, this is where a lot of people say that you should be yourself, especially when it comes to interacting with your fans, because, you know, and this is a prime example, like I haven't made an act to go and you know, for example, try to be Arabic or try to have an Arabic influence for the sake of wanting to be Arabic in anything. I very much, you know, I'm aware of my own identity. I come from a Punjabi background. And it's just that I have a very fast love for Arabic music, Urdu language, and those kinds of languages, you know. I've always actually enjoyed languages from a very young age. I used to do German, Spanish, Italian when I was at school. My mother sent me to Punjabi school, like all mothers do, on a
Fantastic.
Saturday, as if 5 days of school isn't enough.
Fantastic.
You know, I think that it's very important for people to actually branch out in the arts, and you know, but at the same time, I think it's very much a case of doing whatever you want to do and what makes you happy as well, and that's what I've always been doing.
Exactly, and that's where it comes. I mean, end of the day, you're almost like an inspiration for the women out there who are following your music, and because it's very rare where you get, it's very rare that the female get the opportunity to actually do what they want to do. They're very, reserved, like meaning the family, they prefer them to become doctors or pharmacists but get a bigger degree. But it's very rare they would support, someone who wants to get into music. Which is very rare, especially in the South Asian community. Right.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, I can't say to you that my family is 100% behind me. I just told you a prime example where my brother didn't approve of the shots in the Sehraa video.
Yeah.
That's just a prime example, but that's the reality of it. Unfortunately, being brought up in an Asian family and from an Asian background, this is the kind of reality that we do have to face, especially when I'm making videos like the kind of videos that I'm making. But I think at the end of the day, it comes down to, a lot of it is really down to self-belief as well, because the thing is that a lot of people, and that's including your family, they'll make a lot of comments, and some of them will be negative, some of them will be harsh, and unfortunately it's the case of just following through with yourself and your own belief. Because the second that you start letting things affect you, you really kind of had it. And to some extent, not all, but to some extent, what I'm doing, or probably what anyone in a similar role as me, is actually acting. Although I'm not an official actor, but a lot of the time it's acting, and I don't mean acting for other people, but I mean acting for myself. The second I wake up in the morning, I've gone to bed all night, I'm Tripet Garielle by my passport name. So as soon as I wake up in the morning, as soon as my alarm goes off, I'm Arzutra Garielle. And there's a certain responsibility that comes with that. So who do you listen to? Do you listen to your parents, or do you listen to your fans? Or do you listen to yourself? And who are you there to serve? Because as far as I'm concerned, I'm there to serve my fans, and I've got a responsibility to serve them and to inspire them.
Lovely, fantastic. I mean, coming to the track, I'm trying to get used to your new name, Arzutra. It's very Spanish. It's a very interesting name though. But yeah, I mean, coming back to the track, another collaboration you're doing with Atif Ali, a music producer. I mean, how's the collaboration been so far, working with him?
Okay, so I've been working with him for 5 years now, so it's not a new collaboration as such. We have been working for quite some time, and he's we do have our moments where we kind of fight like cat and dog. I won't say it's completely rosy, but that's for the betterment of our music. And sometimes we have different opinions and different ideas, but we just have to then kind of come to a conclusion and figure out what we're going to do. So, as an example, sometimes he wants to do a slow jam acoustic, and I'm kind of in the mood to do a high energy, happy-go-lucky dance track. And it's always mainly the initial stages where we have to decide what we're doing next. Working with him has actually been an honour, because he's worked for quite a lot of Bollywood movies. He's done some title tracks for some of the Bollywood movies out there. I'm quite fortunate to be working with him. He's also worked with Atif Aslam.
Atif Aslam, yes.
He's had Arzutra Ali Khan work with him as well.
Fantastic.
So I think the experience that he has definitely been an advantage to me, and the actual relationship with him has been more of a mentoring relationship, where I've actually grown. I've I've grown as an artist. I've developed vocally compared to where I was 5 years ago. I've developed considerably, not just because of my own merit. Obviously, I've been doing my homework, but he has guided me vocally when it comes to in the studio, for example, in the recording. Which is where it matters the most, because you can do years and years of practice, but the most crucial part of it is actually what you deliver in the studio when you're a recording artist. He's fun to work with. He has got very strong ideas and opinions when it comes to music. He does generally have a strong vision when he starts a piece of music, and sometimes it's difficult to make him change that vision.
Well, I was going to say, I mean, when it comes to, like, for example, you as an artist perspective, I mean, when it comes to working with a music producer and songwriter, what is the first thing you keep in mind when you're planning a song or a composition?
So the first thing really is, like I said, we need to decide what the genre will be. So will it be a dance track? Will it be an acoustic, slow, sad, happy? But from my experience, it doesn't really work when you try to plan it. When you try to plan things, they kind of, it's like forcing yourself to be happy when you're actually sad.
Exactly.
That kind of thing.
Exactly.
It's not natural. So what I find is that a lot of the time it's really good to just follow the natural process, and that's what's happened generally speaking, where I'm feeling something and then he's feeling something, and we're just sitting in the studio and I'm writing some lyrics and he's just making some music, and all of a sudden we come up with a song. So I don't normally write the songs in Urdu, but the sometimes some Punjabi lyrics I tend to contribute to those. But it's quite interesting. I think that there's no definite answer actually. So, if you're looking for a definite answer to say, well, okay, we start with the lyrics and we start with the melody, you could start off with even just a theme, like one word.
So,
and then you can build everything around that theme.
Fantastic.
But a lot of it, I feel with the whole music thing, especially when it comes to the creation of music, I feel like there's a higher power which is involved somewhere. Don't ask me what I mean by that, but I just feel like you have to be at the right place at the right time to get the right kind of sound that you need to get for your track. It's not something that you can really, we've heard of Michael Jackson remixing his songs 100 times over, but we all know Michael Jackson used to write 100 tracks for his albums, but he'd only choose 10 of them, for example, to go forward in his album. But it's making songs. It's a very emotional process. There's a lot of emotion that goes into this kind of creative work.
Fantastic. It's a very interesting conversation because, you kind of actually brought in a very diverse conception in the music scene. As you know, I mean, the Punjabi music industry is, it's very big. It's a big market in the UK, and it has kind of invaded the music in Bollywood movies as well. I mean, there's always at least one Punjabi song in a movie nowadays. But either a dance track or a Sufi song, it has to be Punjabi lyrics. I mean, but nowadays you see like a twist of Hindi as well in the Punjabi songs as well. But however, your songs are more Hindi Urdu lyrics. Have you ever come across thinking of doing a Punjabi song?
Not a pressure from my teammates to do it. Right now I haven't. Myself don't really think that it's going to happen anytime soon. I don't mind trying. I mean, like I said, my team members are all forcing me and pressurizing me and telling me that I should, because that's the thing, the thing. But I think I'll probably end up doing it when I feel like it, as opposed to when I feel pressured. So,
well, we're looking forward to that. We want to see Arzutra Garielle singing in Punjabi. I mean, that would be an interesting concept. That would be an interesting concept, though.
Yeah. Trust me, when it comes to that, you'll be the first person to hear about it.
Lovely. Oh, it'll be an absolute pleasure because I am lucky enough that I've got a second time to have a chit chat with you on a live interview at the moment. So fantastic on that. So I mean, coming back to you the music, your style of music. I mean, where does the music industry stand for you currently? Do you consider the UK to be your market audience, or the Arab or the Middle East?
Well, funnily enough, I've actually got majority of my fan base in Pakistan and Dubai.
Fantastic.
Dubai probably has come about because I'm visiting there to make my music quite often. I generally have a lot of fan base probably because of that side of it.
Yeah.
But I whenever I look at my stats for social media, something like 80% is Pakistani fans, and I don't know how that has come about. I've got no idea. So I think it's time to actually grow the UK fan base now. Let's see if we can top Pakistan and flip it the other way around and 80% UK.
Oh, that'll be interesting. That'll be interesting to see though, because the genre of music you've got, you never know, it might bring in the Western audience. I mean, it's something very versatile, meaning regarding the beats and the music itself, the feel of the track is very, I would say, it sounds very spiritual, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, the idea is that people need to feel a certain energy when the songs come on. So, but, I think from a fan's point of view, it's always going to be different because the fan will only ever hear the song when it's been finished, whereas I hear the song from right the way from the very first chord to the first beat to the first set of lyrics. I'm listening to one song over and over nearly every day for a year before it actually gets released.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the challenge for me is to actually to make sure that the music is fresh and that it actually stays fresh, from the time it's actually produced.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it would be really good to actually get some feedback from the fans as well and the listeners. So, if anyone's got any ideas, maybe we can let the listeners decide if I should do a Punjabi track next or not.
Well, it will be interesting though, because a lot of the listeners, they're very crazy fans of Punjabi music, so you'll have to do a bit of experimentation though. But let's see what happens anyway. So I mean, I've got a very interesting now in this show. I've started to ask a very challenging question to artists now. I have to check their general knowledge now, right? Because you've been going to Dubai quite often now to do a bit of shopping and all sorts. So I've got a very interesting question for you, and I'm just figuring out what the answer for that is now. So I'm going to ask you a very simple question. It's a challenging question, so it's just about yourself, how you're going to answer this now. So the question is, what is Dubai considered more famous for and to be known as?
Okay, most famous for... Okay,
there's no 50-50, there's no phone a friend, no ask the audience in this.
Okay, alright. You have actually got me on this one, to be honest. I thought I was going to be smart and I could just handle everything, but actually you put me on the spot. Okay, so I think that maybe... Okay, beaches.
Oh my god. Right, I'll give you a clue then. Women seem to wear this quite often.
Clothes? No. No idea. I've got no idea.
Right, okay, you're giving up there. Right, the answer for this one is City of Gold.
You know what? I was actually going to say that to you.
Well, everyone says that in the end.
I was about to say it, but I just thought, well, I don't know. I think that gold was it probably has got it, but it's the thing with Dubai is it's always known for something new every week.
Yeah.
This is the biggest X in the world. This is the longest X in the world. This is the largest XX in the world, whatever it is. So I think that's a trick question.
Very trick question.
I need to be let off for that.
Well, at the end of the day, it was a challenging question. Just see your knowledge, your general knowledge about Dubai. So that was a tricky question for you anyway. So yeah, coming back to Sehraa, I mean, loving the track itself, loving the lyrics, very poetic, which is just incredible. I mean, tell us about the songwriter. I mean, why you considered to record this song?
Okay, so the actual lyrics are written by a lady called Vada Lodi, and she wrote the song for me. She's actually someone who's a good friend. She's gotten to know my style, and she understood that she wanted to give something which is quite young and fresh. And I think she's done a really amazing job with the lyrics, because although they're quite light-hearted, but there is still a deep meaning within the lyrics, and the poetry as well. It's actually quite poetic, some of the lines, which is quite nice. The actual composition is by the producer Atif Ali. And like I said, the actual vibe that we started off with, the actual vision that we wanted to make a fusion track, and I think it's worked really well, mixing the Urdu lyrics with some of the Arabic instrumentation. I know that when I first heard some of the beat, I actually just literally started dancing on the spot. Sometimes I do challenge the music and I ask for things to change, but on this particular song, I let the producer just do exactly as he was doing, because I could see that he had a very strong vision, and I thought, okay, I don't want to meddle with that vision, and I'm liking it anyway. I do have a chance to input when it comes to telling the producers or asking the directors, things that I want to see happen. But at the end of the day, I'm not really an aspiring producer. I'm not an aspiring video director. I'm an aspiring singer and artist. And of course, I do have thoughts and ideas, and I very much work hand in hand. In fact, I oversee everything. From the song, the beat, the chords, the instruments, the lyrics, everything. I'm in that entire process from start to finish. But I don't try to make myself something that I'm not, These guys, producers, directors, have been doing what they're doing for a very long period of time, and we need to respect that. You can't just come up on the next day and say, well, I'm a producer, unless you actually are a producer, which I'm not. Who knows, though, one day when I make maybe on the Punjabi track I can meddle a little bit.
Maybe. I mean, you never know where destiny will take you to become a producer of your own track,
Maybe.
So I mean, coming to you, like now since you started music professionally, I mean, have you thought of what level you're considering to take your music to? I mean, are you trying to take it to a Bollywood industry? I mean, what kind of level are you trying to take your genre of music?
So I just want to entertain my fans, and my fan base is growing globally. So for me, it's not about I go to Bollywood and I'm going to, attract an enormous fan base and I'm going to be a superstar. That's, of course, everybody's school of thought. But for me, it's a case of I need to make sure that I know who I am, and I can, I can attract fans alone by myself first. And then, yes, of course, if I want to go and explore opportunities in Bollywood or in any other film industry, I can do, or even collaborations. But I wouldn't look to go and do collaborations until I haven't accumulated a sense of success myself first, by myself, on my own.
Fabulous.
I don't rely on anybody,
Lovely. Fantastic. That's what you call girl power, So that's fantastic. So it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on the show today, once again. But very unfortunately, you haven't actually stepped in the studio yet. So I don't know what the reason behind that is. So
I do apologise, and I will have to make it up to you. I'm going to bring you a chocolate eclair when I come to the studio.
Well, you'll have to do that, because I've got a coffee machine here waiting to fill cups with coffees. And
we were talking about jar last time, the actual
tandoori chai.
That
tandoori chai, the iconic jar by Tripet, who's disappeared.
I'm sorry, I went to go and make more music for your listeners.
But before we end the show now, I think you need to sing a few lines of this new track, Sehraa. I mean, it's a lovely track. A lot of the listeners have been waiting to listen to that track as well, and they've been following you on social media. So I think two lines of this track needs to be dedicated to the followers now.
Okay, sure. So for the listeners who are listening to Arzutra Garielle right now, I hope that you have heard my new track, Sehraa. Make sure you tune in to Akash Radio and let us know what you think about the new track.
Lovely.
बस तू है तेरा मन सहरा मेरा बदन बारिश का महक तेरी सांसें सहरा मेरा बदन.
Fantastic. That's just next level, that. Fantastic. So it's been an absolute pleasure. Arzutra Garielle. It's become more difficult for me. So amazing name. So yeah, and looking forward to more music from you. And hopefully we'll see you in the studio whenever
Next
you get time.
Definitely.
So you'll have to be. Either you can book a train down here, a bus down here, or if you want to come on a cycle, it's entirely up to you.
A cycle? That would take like 12, 13 hours or 20 hours or something, no? 20 hours on a cycle?
Well, I mean fitness first. Fitness is very important.
I can't come to Leeds on a cycle. What would my fans be thinking if anyone's driving past and they see me, like, cycling up to Leeds?
That'll create headlines.
Okay, well, how about you sort out the tandoori chai and I'll sort out how I'm going to get there.
That's
how
fine.
Is that?
That's fine. I could get a tandoor and put tea bags or whatever in there and just make it for you. Not a problem.
Great, thank you.
Lovely. So absolute pleasure to have you on the show and hoping the very best for your music career.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, looking forward for new music from you.
Thank you.
Fabulous,
Likewise.
fabulous.
So that was the exclusive interview with Arzutra Garielle. Very interesting name, very creative name. Very interesting that she's rebranded herself very quickly. It's very interesting to know that. And I'm hoping that she brings more music because she's bringing a different feel, a different style into the music industry, and it's completely different. And many of her fans worldwide who are tuned in, they must have loved the interview. And it's been an absolute pleasure to have her on the show today. And so I'm going to be going for another short commercial break because I've got a lot of tracks to play. I've been requested various parts of the world via Facebook and also by text message. I'm getting a lot of WhatsApp messages for some songs. So I'm going for a small little commercial break. So I'll be back at this short commercial break. Me and myself, RJ Raman.